Hi everyone, and welcome to Wandering Soul Yoga with Sarah. Today we will be working into modified splits practice. So if you're a beginner and you're interested in learning about how to work into the splits, but maybe you'd like to do a more modified approach to the practice, this is perfect for you. When you're ready, grab 2 blocks and a blanket and join me on the mat. You want feet, again, hip width distance apart, so 2 fists, knees gently bent, drawing hands to heart center. Just notice, is your head above your shoulders, above your hips, knees? Notice if you feel in alignment. And let each inhale and exhale bring you onto your mat, bring you into this moment. Maybe choosing to set an intention of playfulness, of trying new things. The yoga practice is all about growth, so we'll be growing in this practice together. If your eyes were closed, you can gently open them, inhaling through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhaling through the nose. And exhale, this time out the nose, hinge forward, folding at the hips. Bend the knees deeply here, maybe pedal. Bending one knee, then bending the other. Head hangs heavy, so gaze between the legs. Inhaling, hands to shin, back is long, neck is long. Exhale, hands to the mat. We'll do that one more time. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, folding forward. Taking weight into the right foot, step your left foot all the way back to the back of the mat. Take the left knee down, untuck the toes, and then options for this hanumanasana low lunge. Hands can come to the right thigh or heart center, or arms can reach up to the ceiling. Noticing if your right hip is way further forward than your left, and then scissoring them together. Maybe that brings you a little bit out of this pose, out of lunge, but you'll be in alignment with the hips. They'll be more square to the front of the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, hands come down to the mat or can come down to blocks. I'll show you with blocks. And then straighten your front leg, flex your toes, and then walk the blocks back. You can have them at any height. I have them at this medium height. And this works really well if maybe you have sore wrists or you're not finding that your hands are coming down onto the mat. Inhale, bend your right knee. Chest lifts, hands maybe come to heart center. We'll do the same again. Exhale, straighten that front leg. Breathing here. If you have the blocks, walk them back. Noticing and ensuring that that left hip is over the left knee. You're not sinking back. Run or stretch. With your next inhale, bend your right knee. If you have blocks, move them out of the way. Hands come to the mat, framing your front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your knee, and inhale, step forward to the top of the mat, taking as many steps as you need. Inhaling, halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale, folding back in. This time, weight into the left foot. Step back with your right. Lower your back knee, untuck your toes. Inhaling, hands to thighs, heart center, or reach up to the ceiling. Noticing again on this side, if anything feels different. Really each side will feel different really day to day, and that is really fine. Just meet yourself where you are today. And notice, are you sinking too far deep into the lunge that the left hip is really far in front? And then if they are, draw that left hip back, draw the right hip forward. Leveling out the hips. One more inhale here. Exhale, hands frame the front foot, straighten your left leg. Walk the hands back so hands remain under the shoulders. Maybe this is where you grab your blocks again, or maybe the side is different. So fingertips are on the floor. Inhale, bend your left knee, hands to heart center. Exhale, hands to the mat, straighten your left leg. Runner stretch. Maybe move the left foot side to side, feel the hip, shift in the hip flexor. Inhale, bend your front knee. Hands frame the front foot. Tuck your back toes, step forward to the top of the mat. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. One more. Inhale, halfway lift. This time taking the feet slightly wider than hip width distance. And options here to do this hanumanasana, forward fold. So you can take peace fingers and loop them around your big toes. Or if you'd like, slide the hands underneath the feet. So bend your knees as much as you need to get there. Palms meet the bottoms of your feet. Then the tops of your hands are on the mat. This can be a really great stretch for the wrists. So bend the knees as much as you need to. And then just let the head hang heavy. Notice if the shoulders are creeping up to the ears, and maybe draw them away, down the back. Shake the head no, shake the head yes. And just releasing into the spine, releasing into the neck. From wherever you are, gently extricating the hands, inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come to the mat, stepping back into downward facing dog. Maybe once you're here, pedaling out the knees. From down dog, inhale the right leg high. Then open the hips to the right any amount, bend the knee. Inhaling here. Exhale, knee to nose, step the foot in between the hands. Lower your back knee. And then walking the right foot outside of the right hand into lizard. So, options in lizard. You can stay up on the palms of the hand, and we'll go back.
Good.
Options in lizard. You can stay up on the hands. Notice how that feels. If you have any soreness in your wrists, maybe it would feel better for you today to take blocks. I have them at this lowest height. And then lower the forearms down to the blocks. When you do this, notice if that right knee pops out really far, and allow it, invite it to draw back into your right shoulder. We'll be here for a few breaths. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling out the nose. Inhaling through the nose. Exhale out the nose. One more time. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. From here, we are going to get a nice juicy quad stretch. So bend the back knee, coming up onto the fleshy part of your left thigh. You can stay down if you're on that forearm. Stay down on the left forearm. And then reach, rainbow the right hand up and over, reaching for the left foot. If that left foot's not available for you, maybe you use a strap, or maybe you just reach. energetically moving into this posture. You can also come up on the left hand if that would give you a little more wiggle room just to reach back for the foot. Gaze can be up to the ceiling or down to the forearm. Maybe this time you allow the right foot, the right knee to open up, coming onto the right edge of the right foot. Draw the left foot any amount into the left glute. One more inhale here. And exhale. Gently releasing the foot back to the mat. Noticing if there are any pops in your knees. As long as they're not painful pops, you're good. Coming back onto hands. If you're using the block, move those blocks out of the way. We will be moving into pigeon pose. So scoot your right foot across your mat. And I'm not picky about needing the front shin to be exactly 90 degrees, exactly matching up with the top of the mat. For my hips, what works best for me is to have this right foot a little bit closer in, untucking my back toes. And that allows me to really settle into the right hip and not feel like my right hip is really far off the ground. But if you're noticing that there's quite a gap between the right hip and the mat, grab a blanket, grab a block, and just situate it under the hip. Props are there really to help us deepen our yoga practice. They are such a help. So never feel like you're not doing the full pose if you're using props. We're actually going to be moving into splits with props today, so look at them as a way to deepen and really move further into the postures. If you're still up on the hands, lower down onto your forearms. Maybe you use a block underneath the head if that would feel good. We'll be here for 3 breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the nose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the nose. Once more, inhale. And exhale. With your next inhale, coming back up onto the hands. Tuck your back toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Maybe throw in another 3-legged dog, if that would feel good. Wherever you are, making your way back to down dog, and just notice the difference between the 2 sides of your body. Are you noticing any change? From down dog, this time we inhale, lift the left leg, point the toes, open the hip, bend the knee, move around if that feels good in that hip joint. It's really opening things up. Inhale, reach to the toes. Exhale, step the foot in between the hands, taking as many steps as you need to get there. Lower your back knee, untuck your toes, and walk your left foot out to the edge of your mat. Hands come inside the feet, foot, singular, and we are in lizard posture on the left side. I'll offer the same variations here. You can stay up on the palms of your hands, really making sure to distribute the weight evenly. So you're not just sinking into the very base of the hand, but you're spreading the weight amongst the fingers and really making sure to protect the wrists here. Or what I will be doing is taking my blocks on their lowest height. If you don't have blocks, you could use a big dictionary, if people still have big dictionaries in their homes. Lowering to the forearms, really drawing and gluing that left knee into your left shoulder. Really, it is totally fine to open up, but it's a different stretch, so we'll get to that one. We'll breathe here for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 3. Same options as before. You can plant that right forearm down onto your blocks, onto the mat, or come up onto the right hand if you'd like a little extra room to reach back. We'll do our quad stretch. Press into the right forearm, left arm rainbows up and over, bend your back knee, reaching for the foot or for the ankle. Again, if you're not making contact with the foot, totally fine. Reach for it energetically, maybe grab a strap or a towel if you have one, just wrap around the foot. Now this is where I'd invite, if you'd like, to open up onto the left side of your left foot. Noticing how it changes the stretch, maybe you're getting into a slightly different muscle group, slightly different tendon in the hip. Drawing that right heel in as close as is comfortable to the right glute. Gaze can be up to the ceiling or down to the mat. With your next exhale, making your way back up onto the hands, moving your blocks out of your way if you have them. And we'll move into pigeon. So scoot your left foot across the mat, sinking into the left knee, untuck your back toes, and then just adjust here. Notice how this side feels, how it feels different or similar to the other side. Maybe propping up the left hip with a blanket, with blocks. If this brings you any pain or discomfort in your knees, and I should have mentioned this on the other side, but you'll know now, is figure 4 on your back is a great alternative, or figure 4 sitting down. Gets in the same muscles as pigeon, but can bring less strain in on the knee. Inhale here. Exhale, well, maybe lowering the forearms down to the ground. Maybe take a block to rest the head on. I like this. I could basically fall asleep here. It's so nice. Inhale. Exhale. 1. We'll be here for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 2. Inhale. Exhale. That's 3. Making your way back up onto your hands, moving blocks out of your way. Tuck your back toes, lift your hips. Downward facing dog. If you'd like, 3-legged dog with the left leg high. If that would help you reset here. Wherever you are, make your way to down dog. Inhale, down dog. Exhale, lower the knees. We'll move through a few cat-cows. Inhale, belly drops, gaze lifts. Cow. Exhale, spine rounds. Belly button draws into spine, gaze back, head is heavy. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Once more, inhaling cow. Exhale, cat. Neutral spine, and then cross the heels, rolling back onto your sits bones. Baddha Konasana, butterfly. Feet draw together, knees wide. If you'd like, you can take the blocks and wedge them in gently here. Can help you breathe into and deepen this posture without the same intensity on the knee joints. Inhale here. Exhale, fold in any amount. I invite you to keep the spine longer here rather than rolling in, rolling the spine. forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more round of breath here. Inhale. Exhale. With your next inhale, draw yourself back up to seated. If you have blocks, move them out from under the knees. Use the hands to draw the knees in to center and extend your legs long forward. Fold is where we'll be moving into. If it would feel good to have the hips elevated slightly, grab a blanket, put it under the hips. Flex your feet. Inhaling, arms reach to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward any amount. Noticing when the spine begins to round and stopping just before that point. We want to keep the spine long. Hands can remain on either sides of the legs if that would feel good, or maybe take them onto the shins to help ground yourself in this pose. Also an option to take peace fingers to big toes. Inhale here, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Inhale. And exhale. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. With your next inhale, coming back up to center, we'll do half hero's pose, half virasana. To do this, I would suggest you have a blanket, have a block on hand, because this can be an intense stretch for your knee. I'll show you first with a block. So you're going to want the block at this lowest height, or if you'd like, you could have a block with a blanket on top, 2 blocks. We'll just try it out and see how it feels. Block on the lowest height. We will come here and we will start by sitting on the block. So this is full virasana. If you were fully seated on the mat, the idea would be that you'd have the sits bones touching the floor and your knees would feel no pain whatsoever. My knees do feel pain when I do that, so I always use a block, and that works really well for me in my practice. But we'll be doing half virasana today, so we'll keep the left heel drawn in, and we'll extend the right leg long. So this right leg is in that forward fold we just worked on. The left heel is drawn in, maybe slightly outside the left hip for half virasana. You can stay here. If this is a great stretch for you, great. If you'd like, you can take that block away. Maybe you're already here. Lowering down onto the mat. Notice if both sits bones are touching. If they're not, try the blanket, maybe get back up on the block, and notice, how does your left knee feel? If this is good, wherever you are, up on the block, on the mat, inhale, arms reach to the ceiling, and exhale, folding any amount over the right leg. Inhale here. Exhale, maybe reaching for that foot, maybe keeping hands on either side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. To exit this posture, we will walk the hands back up to either side of the hip, and we'll just switch sides. So we will extend the left leg long and then bend the right knee in. Noticing how this side feels. Maybe you needed a block on the other side and you don't on this, or vice versa. Take a moment to see what feels good in this posture, making any adjustments that you need. Inhale, arms reach the ceiling. Exhale, hands to the mat, or maybe hands reach for the foot. Inhale here. Exhale. Really feeling the stretch. The back of the left hip. Inhale here. Exhale, fold. Getting into every major muscle group of the hips and hamstrings before we move into our splits practice. Inhale here. Exhale, folding in. And making your way on the next inhale back to center. So from here, make your way out of this however you'd like. There's not an exactly graceful way to do so, but we are making our way back to down dog just to briefly reset. Done a lot of forward folds. We're really resetting the spine here. And then from down dog, draw the right knee into the nose, step the right foot in between the hands. Lower your back knee. I would have your blocks at the ready. So our first option is to move between low lunge and runner stretch. With each exhale, runner stretch, inhale, low lunge. And just keep moving back and forth, noticing what feels good about this posture, and maybe staying in one for a few breaths and staying in the other. If that feels good for you, we are going to move into hanumanasana, which is monkey pose. Splits, full splits in the English version of the posture's name. For me, what I need 2 blocks at their lowest height. And what I'll be doing is putting my right hip on those blocks. So it's a bit of an adjustment, but you're going to be scooching that right foot forward, stepping the left foot further back. Eventually, maybe that hip makes contact with the block, and you can come up onto the right heel, keep the right toes flexed, and notice how that feels. So my right toes are flexed. I'm actually going to start by flexing my left toes to really, like we did before in low lunge, make sure that my hips are straight, flush with the front of the mat. When I feel comfortable with that, I'll untuck my back toes. Maybe this front leg is really bent here. Great. Intense stretch on the hamstring of the right leg, of the front leg, front of the leg, this quad of the back leg. And then it's a bit of a back bend on top of it all. So there's a lot going on. All that said, if that front leg is bent, great. You can take the hands to that front thigh, straightening it only as much as feels comfortable, as feels good. Hands can come to heart center. And you're in your version of splits. Maybe you're in half hanumanasana, runner stretch. Maybe you're working your way into full, like I am. If you're noticing that 2 blocks is too much, too high for you, you can always take a block away. We'll breathe here for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. To get out of hanumanasana, you'll lower the hands down to the mat if they weren't already there. And then bend your front knee, wiggle the front foot back. Slowly. Remove the blocks, move them off to the side, and we'll just do a brief child's pose. So, toes together at the back of the mat, knees wide, and sink the hips back. This is just a great counter pose to all of the hip stretches we just did, all that back bending. When you're ready, making your way back to downward facing dog, and we will try hanumanasana, full splits on the left side. From down dog, draw your left knee into your nose, stepping the left foot all the way to the top of the mat. Untuck your back toes, lower your knee, and then grab your props. I'm going to do 2 blocks again under my left hip. Same options as before. So, know you can move in and out of runner stretch into a lunge. This gets at all the same muscle groups as hanumanasana, just experiencing them in different ways. Hands can come to blocks, hands can be on the mat. It's up to you. If you'd like to try moving into full splits, inch the left foot forward, scoot the right foot back, coming up onto your back toes just to start. Then moving on to the left heel, sinking onto blocks, whatever props you've used to prop up your left hip. Use your back toes to straighten the hips, align them with the top of the mat, and then untuck them whenever you're ready. Maybe this front knee, again, is super bent to start. Each side will feel different. So for me, I have to bend my knee a little more in this left side than on my right. But we are all on a yoga journey, and we're all working into postures. There's no one right or wrong way to do any given posture. So we're all meeting ourselves where we are, myself included. Hands heart center. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Lowering the hands down to the mat, drawing your left foot back, moving any blocks out of your way. We'll come into child's pose one more time. Knees wide, toes touch. Taking big, deep belly breaths here. And moving back to seated. Maybe you sit crisscross applesauce. Maybe you sit up on the heels or on a block in Virasana, in Hero's Pose. Hands can draw to heart center. Maybe the eyes close. Returning to your intention of maybe playfulness, of meeting yourself where you are in your practice, on your mat. Hands draw to third eye. Inhale. Exhale, bow in. Thank yourself for your time and for your practice. Namaste.